You just got your first paycheck. You worked 5 days. You sweated. You smiled at a customer you hated. You earned $1,500. You open your banking app. It says $1,161. You refresh it. You close and reopen it. You turn your phone off and on again. You check your Wi-Fi. You restart the app. Still $1,161. Where is your money? The government took it. Not all of it, just some of it, but enough that you noticed, enough that you're upset, enough that you're watching this video. That missing chunk is called income tax, and today we're going to talk about what it is, why it exists, and why you cannot escape it, no matter how hard you try. Income tax is a percentage of the money you earn that you pay to the government. You earn money, they take a cut. That's it. That's the whole thing. Think of it like a group project, except you did the work. And the government is the group member who showed up at the end and said, so what's my share? Now here's the important word, percentage. The government doesn't take a flat amount. They don't say everyone pays $200. They take a percentage of what you made, which means the more you earn, the more you pay. Earn $20,000 a year, you pay a smaller percentage. Earn $200,000 a year, you pay a larger percentage. This system is called a progressive tax, which sounds very fancy and important, but it just means bigger earner, bigger slice. The idea is that someone making $20,000 probably needs most of that money to survive. Someone making $200,000 can afford to give a bigger chunk without eating cereal for dinner. Is this fair? Economists argue about this constantly. We're not doing that today. We're just explaining what happens to your money. Here's where people lose their minds. You hear the word tax bracket and you think, if I move into a higher bracket, what if all my income gets taxed at the higher rate? So you're afraid of getting a raise. You think, what if I earn more money and end up with less money? No, stop. That's not how it works. Let's say the tax system looks like this. First $10,000 you earn taxed at 10%. Next $30,000 taxed at 20%. Everything above that taxed at 30%. If you earn $50,000, here's what actually happens. The first $10,000 gets taxed at 10%. That's $1,000 gone. The next $30,000 gets taxed at 20%. That's $6,000 gone. The last $10,000 gets taxed at 30%. That's $3,000 gone. Total tax, $10,000. Only that final $10,000 got hit with the 30% rate. Not everything. Just the part that crossed into that bracket. Getting a raise always means more money in your pocket. A higher bracket does not eat your entire paycheck. A raise is still a raise. Go ask for the raise. Okay. The government took your money. Where does it go? Roads. That road you drove on to get to work? Someone had to build that. Schools, hospitals, emergency services, the firefighters who show up when something is on fire. Also the military. Also government salaries. Also a lot of other things you will have opinions about. Point is, a functional country costs money, and that money comes from taxes, including yours, including the $113 they took from your paycheck last month. Is every dollar spent wisely? Probably not. Is some of it wasted? Almost definitely. Should you pay attention to how your government spends it? Yes, absolutely. That's literally what elections are for. But the concept itself, everyone contributes a portion of what they earn to fund shared services. That's not a scam. That's just how civilization works. Uncomfortable truth. Here's the part nobody tells you when you're growing up. Once a year, you file something called a tax return. It's a form where you tell the government how much you actually earned, and they check it against how much was already taken from your paychecks. Sometimes you paid too much throughout the year. The government sends you money back. This is called a tax refund. People love this. They act like they won something. You didn't win anything. They just returned your own money with zero interest after holding it all year. But fine, it still feels nice. Human psychology is a mess. Sometimes you didn't pay enough throughout the year. You owe the government more. This feels terrible. People call it owing taxes. It just means your withholding was off. Either way, you file the form, you sort it out, you move on. Income tax is not a mystery. It's not a punishment. It's not a conspiracy. It's just the price of living in a society with roads and schools and people who answer when you call 911. You earned money. Some of it went to the collective pot. The remaining money is yours. Try to enjoy it.